so many people buy their Stream Decks, and when you install it, if you have Ecamm, it sets up a Stream Deck profile. However, I feel like people, you're going to be Mary Lou for a second. I feel like people never adjust past the Ecamm profile, so they don't really use their Stream Decks other than Ecamm, and it's such a powerful device. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's really a keyboard, if we're honest, and it's a keyboard that can do all myriad sorts of things to make your job easier, including what I'm doing right now, which is like making these kind of scenes and stuff. So what we're doing in an hour is this event called the Stream Deck Cafe, where I'm just having, instead of teaching it like a class, which can get a little bit boring, we're just going to have people come in and share what they got, ask questions, keep it raw.
Mm.
All
Mm.
right, boom.
Nice.
What's up, Tora? Let's see. And you want to use B-Rat Studios, or you want to use Brad Watanabe as your Twitter and Insta handle?
I guess Brad Watanabe.
Okay. Watanabe. Boom. There you go. All right. So let me fire this up. One of the things that's really cool about Ecamm is I can do things like, so once you go live, it starts the recording. And in fact, I have a Stream Deck button for this. When I want to make sure that the recording is clean, I stop the recording right now. And then once we're ready to start the podcast, I start it again so that I have a clean opening. So when I go into Final Cut DaVinci to fix it, all I do is just tighten that little air gap at the very beginning, slap an end card, publish. Like, just done. Like, so
Nice.
I try to take, this is hard for people like us. I'm trying to get some of our production mentality away from doing the podcast, because even if you think of Conan and all these other celebs who are coming to the thing, he had every opportunity and all of the money to create his TV show for the internet. But no, he put a couple cameras in a conference room, and it's him and his friends talking smack around the table. I mean, he didn't even bring in like extra plants and stuff to make it cool. Conan and his assistant and his producer, they're all sitting at a long, crusty table. Now, for us, it'd be a $50 city meal table. He probably has like a $20,000 nice handmade table, but they literally just at the table. Like, they didn't do anything crazy. He doesn't have a lot of cameras going. It's not overproduced. It's literally him and his friends talking. And I think that even changes the conversation a little bit, because it doesn't feel like you're at another TV show interview. So it lets the people who come on kind of get loose as well. And it's a better conversation. You know what I mean?
You want me to zoom out a little bit?
See, you're producing. Nobody cares. Your head is smaller than mine in real life. I wear my hat on the last two dots. You got to squint yours all the way in. I do have this thing. I don't think I have it in this profile, but I have a framer I can send you, and it's a file that I normally use. So when I'm in the single camera mode, I'll put the framer on so that I can get my head kind of sort of the right size. But I do realize I have a much larger head than most humans. So I just kind of like deal with it. But yeah, I use a framer JPEG. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It really does help. And get your eye line, the stuff that we do before. I need my eye line to be a certain way. I need this to be a certain way. So again, I try to get out of my head. Look, Egon said his head is ginormous. See, all of us melon-oriented kids, like, you get it. I know you get it. Okay, I got it right here. I'll show you the framer thing, and I'll send you this JPEG. It's in my regular stream feed. I have a folder where I keep all of my Ecamm graphics. So there's my little framer. And I just throw that on. This is way out of whack on my normal show. When I have it there, like if I go to this screen, see, it's kind of more accurate. You know what I mean? Because it's slightly zoomed in. But yeah, there you go. I'll send you that file so you can play with it. Okay, gang.
That's
So
cool.
thank you, E, for popping in. Good to see you. My buddy Brad and I are just going to do a podcast because whenever we get together and talk shop, we always go, "Hey, we should have recorded this." And normally we'll meet like once in a while to get lunch across the street. Brad lives in Hawaii with me. And then we're like, oh, we should have recorded that. So Brad smartly said, hey, you want to record something today? And I'm like, okay, cool. So it's literally going to be one, one of these like off the cuff conversations, but we'll get into it real fast. So let me start the recording. I always take a sip of water first. I believe, Egon, if you search for it, it's called the Fenwick Framer. It's from a dude named Chris Fenwick, but many people have copied and recreated it. It's just a brilliant thing to keep your head in the center of the picture. Because if you have a head the size of myself or Luis, you kind of need to keep it in the picture. It's big. All right, let me start this real quick. Aloha, everybody, and welcome to a random pop-up shop of Creators of Stuck. I am Doc. That is not Mary Lou. That, wrong direction. That is my friend Brad. And we just want to come in and wait, I just see what I did. Hold on. Start it again. I screwed up. I made a whole new scene and I forgot to put it back to the right one. Old habits die
Hmm.
hard. I'm going to stop the recording and start again. Luis caught it. Aloha, everyone, and welcome to a quick pop-up version of Creators Unstuck. I'm Doc Rock, and today I'm hanging out with my buddy, Mr. Brad Watanabe over there. Good, long-time friend, lives in Honolulu with me, and we're just going to talk about creator stuff. So stick around, hang out, and check us out. And, of course, if you need to find out more about Brad, go to Brad Watanabe. It's literally in the lower third. All right, B. So this is fun. I swear, every time we get together and we have our conversations, we're always like, we should have recorded that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I appreciate the thought ahead of time. Um, I know that you are in this process of trying to do more content creator stuff versus your professional production stuff.
Hmm.
What's causing this fire?
Oh man. I grew up in the church, going to church most of my life throughout high school, college, and one of the things that was super evident was this idea that you bring in information, but you have to share that with other people. That was kind of this mentality that we had. Same thing, growing up here in Hawaii, you get stuff and you share stuff, and it's just kind of the cyclical nature of ingest and output. And with that, as long as I've been doing production since high school, we would share our skateboard videos and surf videos on a VCR around a couch back before
Facts.
social media was right a digital thing. And so in kind of that same light, like there's just so many people talking about what they're doing these days, and not just like I'm not trying to dispel any untruths or any of that stuff, but really just to kind of share what we've done. And I've been doing this professionally for a couple of decades, and with some of that, there's just some experience that you don't get by watching YouTube videos that hopefully we can share some of those tips.
Yeah.
And working in Hawaii is different than working in New York or working in LA, and we've got different rules, different subcultures. So understanding how to create both in a culturally responsible way, pono way, but also be able to do that like in a legit professional way as well. Bringing all of that to the table, I think is what we want to do in the digitals.
I love it. I love it. Okay, real quick, because I'm
Yeah.
laughing to you because it's so normal for us. I catch myself all the time. I throw in random Hawaii words in the middle of
Yeah.
what we're doing. I explain to people what the pono way is. It's funny to me to have to say that, but I get it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, pono is just to do things in an upright way, with authenticity, with integrity. I'm not Hawaiian, ethnically, but I think of myself as somebody from this place. My family has been in Hawaii for, four, five, six generations. And so this is the place that I call home. And so I want to represent the people that live here, the people that culturally are, Hawaiian ethnically, and represent that in a way that is upstanding and true and honest. And that's kind of what Pono is
I mean,
to
I
me.
love that. I love that. I tell
Yeah.
everybody, and my people kind of understand me. I do everything online with the basis of the Hawaii cultural style. And I have to explain to mainlanders all the time,
Mm,
you can't call me Hawaiian because I live here. It's not the same as California. I get it. It's a state, whatever, but it's an actual thing. It's a kingdom that we kind of
mm,
stole. Like not we. I wasn't involved, but some other people stole. And I'm like, yeah, don't mix the two up. Like I can say Luis is Floridian, right?
mm,
And yeah, I can say Paul is British, but you don't get to say I'm Hawaiian. Like that doesn't count.
mm,
And I do run my community and even my work. I do everything with the Aloha spirit. And I
mm,
think it's something that, the Queen wanted us to share with everybody. And I
mm,
wish those of us who create spent more time making sure that we shared that. So I love the fact that you shared with everyone what doing things in a Pono way, it's
mm.
like integrity, but even deeper than that. And I mean, if I'm going to round it off in a random doc way, it's like don't be a eggplant emoji, but it's even bigger than that. Like it goes
Mm,
a long way. It's kind of like in Japan how you just don't do things to make life hard for somebody else.
mm,
It's a very similar style of vibe, but we're also
mm,
looking out for teaching the next one, teaching because
mm,
you have to do that in a small place like this, right? We have to kind of look
mhm,
out for each other. And I
mhm,
unfortunately the current state of affairs with online platforms that doesn't really sing well. Like negativity is so big.
mm.
So I'm out here trying to make sure that we grow more of this and less
Yeah.
of the cantankerousness.
Is that like a canker sore?
Yeah,
Cantankerous? I
cantankerous
don't.
is basically it. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's just the heinous noise, screaming,
Yeah.
just being being abrasive,
Yeah.
recalcitrant. Sorry, let me get off my dictionary. uh, so I guess I think a good question, just so we
Mm,
sort of set some stones. Of course, you can't get too deep into your client work, but explain sort of what you do professionally first, so it makes sense, so they understand when they're talking to some dude that works at McDonald's.
sure. Um, well, I grew up in the 90s, roughly. That was a big part of my
Baby.
childhood. Skateboard, you can't see the skateboard, but I got a Steve Caballero deck back over there. Um, yeah, and I grew up with VHS-C cameras and that kind of stuff. When I got into actual creative things in college, I was in LA. After that, did some commercials, Super Bowl spots and you know music videos for big time MTV, VH1 kinds of things. And when I decided uh, this stuff is really cool, but I think I need to go spend time with Grandpa, spend time with Dad, Mom. Um, I was like, that industry doesn't really exist in Hawaii, so I'm cool with kind of setting that aside. And then the 5D Mark One, Mark Two, T2Is kind of came into play, and I was like, maybe we can do something with this. Um, and throughout that time in the mid 2000s, um, we just built this little production business, and we get to do some brand storytelling for hotels and airlines and clothing brands and all these fun companies here in Hawaii and some around the world. We've gotten to travel and do all these fun things. But most of our work revolves around telling our clients' story. Um, and we do that with brand intentions and longevity. We do things both that speak to their employees, speak to the world, and we get to use some really cool tools at the same time.
Mary
Yeah.
Lou said Mary Lou looks so different. Girl, the mustache is working, yo.
Yeah.
So listen, I think something that is really cool, and you talk about this all the time, and for as long as I've known Brad, which I feel like is 15 plus years, if not longer, is the storytelling element has been your hallmark, or even
Mm,
better, it's almost like a guiding post. Everyone talks about it. I don't think
mm,
enough people sort of explain how to do it, or they
mm,
over explain it, if that makes any
mm.
sense. What does storytelling look like to you? And if possible, give an example.
Oh man. So people ask me often like, when did you first start doing this? And I go back to like the garage in my parents' house, our first house in Mililani, where I had a tape recorder and I was kind of telling the story of what the ants were doing in our driveway. Like that
No
was the
camera,
first
no
time
video,
I
just
can,
tape.
yeah, just tape. Yeah, just an audio cassette recorder. And like that's the first memory I have of like doing any kind of like storytelling. I must have been in like first grade or second grade, but for some reason that memory sticks with me. Um,
Wow.
I was I was obviously making stuff up. Um, I wasn't talking to any ants or anything, but I was building out what a narrative was for what was happening. Um, and then along the way, throughout high school, well, I mean, even before that, elementary school, pinhole cameras and 35 millimeter film. I was doing my best to document the things that either I was doing or my friends were doing or my family was doing, and I just always had a camera with me. So I think just innately telling the story of what was happening was just how I enjoyed life, how I saw life through a lens, just kind of became something that I did. Not really intentionally, just that's just what I enjoyed, and I still do that today. So when it comes to like how I do or what I do or any of that stuff, it's kind of hard to explain because I don't know if I fully processed it.
Yeah.
It's more of a mechanism of how I think, how I act, and so even within that, like I'll go to I'll be working with a brand. We've been working with Hawaiian Airlines for over a decade now, and we started with them when they were first dipping their toes in social media on Facebook. And along the way, I've gotten to see and help them develop what their story looks like to Hawaii, to the rest of the world by understanding what elements they use within their brand guidelines, their colors, their fonts, their people, and understand how a 7,000 person organization operates and what that story looks like to the rest of the world, like the story that they want to tell, the stories that people assume upon a brand as big as Hawaiian Airlines, and bring those two things together with how they want to guide their story for the next year, the next 5 years or 10 years. That's kind of the mechanical, like what we do and how we do it is I don't think this gets as much airplay as it's worth, but it's really just learning how to listen.
Hmm.
I think that we spend so much time trying to communicate and trying to create content that we spend so few hours actually listening to what needs to be told, what the people are saying. I say this all the time to our Hawaiian Airlines friends is like, the story is not about airplanes. It's not about just Hawaii. It's not about travel. It's about the people that make up this operation. These are the fingerprints that make you Hawaiian Airlines and not, and even in this instance, not Alaska. Like there
Mm.
is a differentiator between these two airlines, and
100.
keeping that brand is going to be absolutely important for Hawaiian Airlines going forward. But it's different than Alaska, American, United, and keeping those fingerprints or about maintaining the stories of the people that work there and the uniqueness of this place that we live in. Like there's no other airline in the entire planet that's talking about lo'i and preserving culture and what it's like to, print kappa. Like that is ours. And if we lose that, we lose our story. So bringing all of those elements in, they're not just texture, they're not just eye candy, but they're a part of the history of the people and the place that make this a special and unique airline. Like those are the elements that we bring in as we bring in the stories of the people, the airline, the design. And for me, like that's how we tell stories is by listening, gathering all of this information, piecing it back together so that it's understandable and resonates with people on both the informational level and on like the personal, spiritual, emotional level as well. And that's what to me storytelling is at its core.
Man, listen, there's so many fire statements in what you just said. One of the first ones is I, prior to this event, I basically flew whatever was the cheapest.
Mm,
And then you called me in to grip lighting for one of the first Hawaii skies when we got seat back TVs. Because, before the TV was on
mm,
the wall. And then we got
mm,
the birds with the seat backs and the TVs. I want to say seat back TVs was like 2012.
mm,
And you were like, dude, can you come and grip lighting for this Hawaii shoot? I was like, yeah. Being BTS behind the scenes and during that setup, the shoot, and watching the story being told and seeing the people and sort of meeting was on, I became Pualani proud that day.
mm,
I don't put my butt in nothing else unless it's
mm,
the only other way to get there. I
mhm,
cannot stand flying American, United, Delta, Jet Blizzy, none of that. I became Pualani proud. And I know to most people that seems weird because an airplane is an airplane. It goes in the air, it takes you where you got to go. Some people don't even have brand loyalty.
mm,
But up until a week and a half ago, I had a 500,000 miles stacked on Hawaiian.
mm,
And the reason why is the story that you helped them tell, it resonated with me. And I
mm,
understand that. And now that the company has merged and I'm seeing the difference in the culture, and even when we fly, Lou and I just flew from Boston to Seattle and we were flying Alaska. And I swear she probably wanted to punch me because every other sentence was on Hawaiian. We don't have this problem. Oh, on Hawaiian, we don't have this problem. Like it's
mm,
different. It's legit different.
mm,
And the other thing I was going to tell you that was funny is the first time that I flew Hawaiian and I brought
mm,
them cookies. I brought them the Haromi cookies from Hawaii Chocolate Company, and I handed it to the flight attendants as a gift. They're like, "What's this for?" I'm like, "Oh, it's for you guys, mahalo." And they was like, "Oh, wait, the Hawaiian passengers brings us gifts when they come. The
mm,
other rest of the passengers come in and yell at us because they didn't get the seat that they want." But that's our
mm,
culture. Our culture is we bring stuff, right? We don't go to,
mm,
we ain't coming to your crib without something. Right? So
Yep.
it's so
Yeah.
crazy that that is a massive difference. And I love the fact, and I don't even know if I told you, knowing that you helped them tell the stories, but that one grip, all I did was put up lights and take down lights and aim them wherever Brad told me to aim them and put them in the bag and carry a bunch of stuff and eat lunch. But being back behind the scenes, I was like, this brand really cares about what they're doing.
Mm,
And even
yeah.
like one of the ones we did, which was so much fun, was trying to prove to people that beach volleyball comes from here and not California.
Mm,
And, we're just sitting in the room at the beach club. But like that
mm,
story resonates, these things make a big
yeah.
difference. So I love the fact that you talk about, how to do the story because you're right. So many people use that and they talk about it and they tell people, "Oh, tell your stories," but they don't really explain it, and it's a little
Mm,
harder, you know.
yeah. And I think that it's become I don't want to say cliche.
It is cliche. I'll say it.
Yeah, I mean,
You're nice. I'm not.
yeah.
It's
But
cliche.
I think the element that doesn't doesn't get talked about enough is that stories are not ours. You know,
Nope.
they're a gift. And so people sharing stories with us is a privilege. It's not something that we just get, you know, and like my stories from my grandpa don't belong to anybody else other than him. And so if he wants to share those with me because he thinks I'm of worth enough to pass those on, then those come to me. And if not, you know, there's a lot of stories that are locked in people and will never get told. And if we
Oh,
want
mine
to
can't
be
be
able to
told because
share
there
that,
might be statute of limitations.
yeah. But like those types of things, I mean, when you understand that y- it's it's a privilege, and you have to earn that respect from people in order to be able to share that story with not just like hear it, but to share that with the world. Like you go in with a different motivation. You go in trying to protect and preserve like their their legacy, their purpose, their intentions. Not just going in like I want to make this film about this thing. I want you to be a soundbite in my film. And I think that the heart of the listener is really really important because you're not trying to come in with agendas. You're trying to go in there as somebody who's documenting something that's already happened, and that's truly an honor for me. I don't want that to ever go away because it puts me in my place of I'm I'm just a passenger on this ride.
Okay,
Thanks
listen.
for having me along.
Okay, so listen. You said listen. My brand, my entire brand, is purpose and intention. And the
Yeah.
fact that that's not something that, unless you've been here from the day one and you bought the T-shirt, most people don't know that. But I talk about it constantly, and I just hope people figure it out. That once you have your purpose and you do everything with intention, all the other noise around creative burnout and analytics, and my buddy Paul, who's in the
Mm,
chat, we fight about analytics all the time because I don't look at them. It's none of my business. I have a
mm,
purpose, and this is my intention. And whatever
mm,
happens, happens. I just throw it out there, right? So as you're making this transition, I think what you're saying in a nutshell that's driving you is this purpose to serve.
mm.
What does that
Yeah.
look like in Brad's brain right now?
Oh man. Um, So not to go into too much of a sad story, but you know, my dad passed away, and that was a world shattering event, right? My
100%.
and then just before that, my grandma passed away, and more recently, my uncle passed away. And you know, I think there's nothing like loss to really motivate you in a direction that you kind of paused on for a long time. And again, I don't think I'm here just to hoard experiences or camera gear or you know money or any of that stuff. It's like things come in and things go out. And so I've had some amazing experiences in my life, and I want to share those with people, digitally or otherwise. And so with this, like I feel like if there's one thing that social media, I mean, everybody knows this, that social media is like really, really good at, it's sucking away your life. And if you're not careful, it'll eat away at your time and your attention for your kids, for your spouse, or for your friends, or for your work. And I think because so many people are motivated to create digital content just to be
Scene?
visible,
Mm-hmm.
to be seen, to be heard, to have some kind of purpose outside of just, you know, living life. I want to kind of do what I can to reverse that trend for the people I care about because I know it's a dark hole and it leads to a lot of things that can be not so good. And I think that's where storytelling, like in its purest form, like overcomes that because it's not about attention, it's not about you, it's about other people sharing that, and and it gets to focus off of me, which is something that I appreciate. And if I can help one other like person getting started in their career to really focus on stories rather than just content, I'll be stoked with that. And really investing in other people to do that. And I think, you know, as AI ramps up crazy head, we're going to see the content machine become so much uglier in some ways. And I don't want that to be the case. So even just strategically, I think stories will win. Like humanness will continue to win. And that's how you beat AI at its own game is you become more human and less content, less transactional in your storytelling abilities. When you're the only one that can tell the story like you do, you become irreplaceable, indispensable, both for your clients, for yourself. And I think as a somebody who makes their living creatively, whether that's photography or writing or video making, like you need to stand out. Your content can't just be content. Like I feel like that's the part that I'd love to help other people figure out. Um, yeah.
Dude, that's I was gonna go. I legit right before this meeting, I had a meeting with Luis, and the thing I was saying is, we need to just put out more nasty looking content that's just us being us, because we're a cool team and we're goofy, and we
Mm,
should show that. Like all of our videos talking about our podcast or whatever don't have to be polished. We could put out the ugly ones. I'm like, if you want, you saw something you think that I would speak on, send me the thing, and I will record that joint standing in the middle of Foodland in the produce section because the value of the tip is still there. But the
mm,
humanity of I'm at the grocery store in Honolulu or walking in the beach or something like that is even more funnier, right? So I
mm,
was telling him like, oh, we're going to go on this hiatus, and while we're going to go on this hiatus for the
mm.
flow, I'm not going to be able to sort of record some of this stuff. So I'm like, I can just get a video of like Emma pushing me in the ocean. And then Luis could be like, well, Doc's gone for a little bit, but we're still going to be here. So make sure you follow the back episodes or check out the podcast course, or, while we get this dude
Yeah.
out of the ocean. And I'm like, yeah, see, that's more fun because we are goofy like that,
Mm,
and we do like to have fun. And I appreciate, you catching this. It's terrible that it had to go this way because even me, I feel like my output cranked up after Pops. When Pops passed, it crushed me for about 2 weeks, and
mm,
then I'm like, the best thing I can do is do the best thing I could do with this content because I know how to do this because of him. And
mm.
so the best
Absolutely.
way, and I mean, he was your dad too. The best way to be Papa Hui is to
Mm,
teach other people the stuff that he taught us. Y'all don't know.
mm.
My dad would send me in battering for, and we had to listen to 2 hour lectures, bro. All about video and
Yeah.
content and like telling your stories and shooting it the right way and using a good technique. Like we would get
Mm.
long scoldings about doing this. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And it's funny because like to me the legacy lives on. um Luis just put back together his old red,
Mm.
and he got it working, and he figured out drives. He 3D printed a lens out of an old Nifty 50, like took the Nifty 50 apart and built a
Boy.
lens and the whole 9 yards. So red number 11
Mm.
lives. I mean, serial number
That's
11.
amazing.
Watching kids running around talking about they need a red and a Komodo and blah, 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 blah. I was
Yeah.
like, bro, listen. And they'd be like, oh, you don't
Yeah.
know because red is different. And I'm like, what do you mean I don't know? I have red number
Mm.
11, bro. What are you talking about? And 12, actually. So chill out. And so I guess the the question that we always ask
Mm.
is, what has you stuck?
Whew.
I know you
There's a
hate
lot
that.
of yeah. There's a lot of stuff that keeps my feet from moving. I think the biggest one is definitely the workload that I have, the workload that I put on myself, and the business and the team and all of that stuff. Um, so I think that's one thing is just creating more margin in my life so that I can do this. And I think it starts small. I think my tendency is to go too big, too fast. And, when you build this big ark, you got to fill it with some animals. And so like I build an ark for myself only to never get it off the shore. I think that's one of the big things that keeps me stuck. So uh, we're gonna start small and just go back to some of our roots of just getting people together in a room, probably come to the studio, once a month and just hang out. because it brings people back into a room and converse and just talk about what we're talking about right now, which is some of my personal hopes is just to help people move the needle in their professional creative careers. So I think starting small rather than starting big is going to be helpful. But the other thing that gets me stuck, and this is not a bad problem, and I don't want to view this as a problem, but I'm a dad of two young boys. I got a 5-year-old and a 9-month old. And so those things just, it makes me overthink. Like, what am I making? What is taking away time from spending it with them? Is it worth it? And like, will they be proud of the thing that I'm making? And so those are all like not sticky things, but they make me really calculate what we're doing and why, which I think is a good thing. But it also does keep me from moving forward faster than maybe I'd like to. Yeah, I think those are things, and then also just the cost of it. If I'm not working, I'm investing in this business or this new opportunity to hopefully not just make other like more money, but to help other people move the needle. And that is just an investment in my time that I'm not making money
Yeah.
from the business. So those are, I think, the three things that usually keep me from moving too quickly.
But the calling is super strong to come and do
Mm,
this because you keep coming back to it. And Lou and I were
mm,
just talking about this on Tuesday. When the calling is that strong, in a way, it actually can get in a way it can get in the way. That sounded really weird. It can get
yeah,
in the way of your actual normal production because your brain is always thinking about I want to go do my altruistic production. I want to
yeah,
go help my church. I want to go help this nonprofit organization get their act together because I believe in what they're doing.
mm,
Right. So if the calling of service is just part of our culture, number one,
mm-hmm,
it's part of grandpa's culture,
mm,
right? And it's definitely indelible in Brad.
mm,
Squelching that calling is where the word stress comes out of people's mouth.
mm, yeah,
So even if you could only allocate 30 minutes a week to it, you have to do it.
yep,
But the
yep,
thing that stops you from doing 30 is we're professionals and it's supposed to be 2 hours. An hour to set, 30 minutes to shoot, 30 minutes to strike.
mm,
Guess what? Don't set, don't strike.
mm,
Handheld, rock held, top of the freaking water bottle held. Still
mm,
shoot it. Now, we have stuck cameras in some strange places with some strange configurations sandbag sticks, twigs, coffee pots. It ain't all. It doesn't have to be about the gear because the skill
mm,
that you have, Brad, when you have the awards to prove it, is you have the ability to tell stories. So in
mm,
some days, this has to be the Red, or the Canon, or the Sony, right?
yeah,
And other days, this has to go back to Brad because it's sitting on my desk. This has to be the Red. Or you know what I'm
mm,
saying? And so I think our proclivities as video production type people is to the lighting or whatever. I'm like, you know what? I'm just paying attention to it this week. I'm in the middle of this really good show on Apple TV, and it's a British show, and so much of it is shot in darkness because
mm,
true cinematics is in the shadows. My lighting coach was like, lights isn't about controlling light, light is about controlling shadow.
mm,
So, in a way, in the same vein, if your workload is smashing your calling, you are pushing your calling into the shadow. And
mm,
I'm not going to tell you to give up the workload because number one, the commercials on TV would get more terrible. The activations on Hawaiian would get more terrible. No, we need you to keep making us look good. However, you can't keep smashing the calling. Even if that
mm,
calling is, you know, next year when he can start to understand, you're just making little funny 30 seconds of trying to teach nephew how to properly hold the camera. Because other people
Mm,
are going to pick up tips while you're giving the tips to a 6 year old, which is hilarious. And they'll be like, oh,
mm,
I don't even do that. This little kid is out here. You know what I mean? Those kind of things will go a long
yeah.
way to help you release the dragon.
Mm, yeah. I actually just got a text from Mauna yesterday or the day before. He was like, I think I've figured out some stuff on social media. And he's been telling his story about, after doing production for all of these years, going back to farming, and
Farming, yeah.
his was also kind of driven by family stress. His mom passed, and nothing like that to really put the the focus on what you want to do. And he was like, in doing this, what I realized is the more human it feels, the better the results are. And it's not just results for the sake of like visibility. It's like I actually get to connect with the right people because they find it because they're looking for this stuff. And he's like, Brad, I'm going to challenge you to just make something ugly. Not for the sake of making it ugly, but forgetting about the production
Yes.
that's kind of built into your heart and your soul. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that. So this morning, before my first meeting, I went out and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do this. I already did it wrong. I mean, I already like set up like 17 shots of B-roll that I was gonna have to do in order to just talk about this one thing that I wanted to share. And what ends up happening then is this the story never gets out. The the tip never gets to help somebody else because it gets stuck back in my camera roll and my brain, my heart, and it just kind of like hoarding, junk in your heart. Like if you start a project and you never finish it, it just backs up.
I'm going to ask you a
Uh,
crazy question.
yeah,
I don't want you to catch this.
yeah.
And when it comes from me, it's even more terrible because I shouldn't have to teach you this.
Yeah.
When you go to church on Sunday, who is the person that they're talking about?
What do you mean?
Who is the number one subject of what they're talking about? Christ,
Oh,
right?
Jesus. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Did he have a building with nice chairs and air conditioning?
No, he didn't.
When he was teaching what he was teaching, where he was at?
And all kinds of not so nice places, talking to crazy folks.
All
Yeah.
right, so where's the craziest place you had a, not craziest, but what's the most random place you had a conversation with Christ?
Oh man.
All the time, I know.
Probably, yeah, probably in some of the dark places in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have lighting, you didn't have mics, you didn't have lens, you weren't figuring out nothing. You just had it then.
Mm.
And you had a real life conversation with the person that you were hoping could guide you through a situation. It
Yeah.
wasn't, there was no production. And the no, I get in fights with people about this because, being an atheist, they think I don't know something, but I'm a smart dude. The building level church is technically a pagan ritual. Christians didn't do that.
Mm.
After they lambasted all the pagans, they realized, oh, we should make a building. The
Mm.
basilica is not technically a Christian thing.
Mm.
So you don't need that same production stuff that you got in your head. That
Mm.
is your church, the building. But it is not the church, the congregation.
Mm. Yeah, it's good.
Some of y'all
Yeah.
need to listen to us atheists sometimes. No, I'm just teasing. I'm teasing. Now, here's the thing that I wanted to make sure that I point out because this hit me like a ton of bricks yesterday. Vaynerchuk was talking to somebody, and it was
Mm.
funny. It was so funny that I can't believe I never thought of this myself. You
Mm.
mentioned how social media is, you know, very powerful and it has the power to take us out of our situation. It has the power to elevate our negative feelings about ourselves, our self consciousness, our feelings of inadequacy, our feelings of wanting to divide and fight. And the person that was talking to was like, yeah, that's why I don't go on social media. Because social media
Mm.
is, it can what is it, take our attention away. That was the way you expressed it. And Gary said something that was so wild to me that I got out the shower and rewound it and got back in the shower. So listen, you're telling me that social media has the power to do all of these things. Yeah. And social media has the power to ruin the world. Yeah. But you're telling me it doesn't have the power to elevate your business? It doesn't have the power to put positivity in the world? It doesn't have the power to help feed people? That don't make no sense. That math can't math,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And my immediate thought, living in Hawaii, was I thought of water.
Mm.
And then Bruce Lee started chatting in my head, right? Water can give life and water can take it away. Before we started the shot, I take my shot, right? Like I'll go through 3 of these a day. And without them 3 of them a day, I got a headache, my arthritis hurt, blood pressure get up, right?
Mm.
So in the same vein, and what my purpose is to get people to tell their stories, is so that we can squelch the noise. When you're next to the neighbor, you remember when we was kids, and the neighbors be making noise, what do? We make the TV louder, right? When we pull up to the car, see on Sunset, and this person is bopping, and they got like, something playing, and you're like, oh, you want to see that? We would crank ours louder.
Mm.
I'm just trying to win the SPL, sound pressure level, competition by putting out good. I want to outshout the idiots that's out here putting out heinousness.
Mm.
And even taking it back to your teachings, your man went around trying to teach the world to be good, to try to quiet down the red dude from the other direction.
Mm.
And the only way to fight the red dude is to out good.
Mm.
So you have to put this
Yeah.
out. The reason why the calling is calling you is because some of the people who are putting out good aren't very good at telling their stories. And you're a professional. So when when Blood Bank hit us up and told us to come to Waikiki and shoot these interviews, it was at a time when Hawaii needed more blood. And we showed up, a couple bags, couple cameras, couple lights, some chips, and they got more blood. The reason why I sit here today and can stand on my toes and say I'm Pualani proud is because you helped that brand tell their story. And I brag to all these guys in the chat about how much better Hawaiian is than everybody else.
Mm.
It's almost like me and the Raiders or something. Like that is my brand. Like me with Apple, I'm like that with Hawaiian.
Mm.
But that wasn't from them. A lot of that's from you.
I don't know if I can take that credit.
It's not
But
all you. It's a
I get
team.
what you're
It's a
saying.
big team. But you know what I'm saying. Don't mess up the story.
Yeah, I know.
You just cut the edit line. You crash
Yeah.
Premiere. But you know what I'm saying, right? It's because it's an
Yeah.
elevation. Like you're elevating these stories, right? The reason why, people be out here, like we go to Japan and I'm going to see a whole bunch of people in Dodgers gear don't know the first thing about baseball, right? But they're just elevating Shohei and, Sasaki and Yamamoto. And did you know that the coach is Okinawan or part Okinawan? Yeah. So, like, they're elevating that. And Shohei's interpreter is from Hawaii, the new one. The old one's in jail. but
Mm.
or close to it anyway. But yeah, so we definitely like the calling is calling you, and like again, start small. I love what you said. I try to tell this to my people all the time because it's so easy to see the stuff that's out here and be like, oh, I want to do that. And I love driving. Like you've been with me, but I ain't Lewis Hamilton.
Mm.
I just watch him on TV and be like, damn, one of these days I'm gonna sit. I don't know how I'm gonna wedge my fat butt into an F1, but I want to drive an F1.
Mm.
You know, and I can enjoy that whatever, but I can get my little bit by dragging somebody else to the F1 party because Americans are starting to catch on. And I feel like I have a goal of every month dragging two more people into the F1 circle.
Mm.
And I was like that about round football. I drag more Americans into round football than most. I don't let them say, "Oh, but this sucks." I'm like, "But imagine this: no commercials for 45 minutes. You get to enjoy a game." Like things like that.
Mm.
So in the same vein, think of it almost as evangelizing the storytelling, because without the story, these positive messages can't take hold. You know what I mean? You ever try to put a sticker on a dirty car? It just falls right back off.
Mm.
So you're helping people basically get good adhesion with their message and get their stories out. Similar to the project
Mm-hmm.
you just did when you went to Japan.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think for me, a big takeaway is just, I mean, well, one, start small. The other thing is just, I don't know. I never really know what I want to talk about. So I think that's the other sticky part.
Don't
Uh,
just do what we did. Just fire up the thing and just
yeah.
start talking. It comes once you do it.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing. Like I agree with it. Happens all the dude. I just did 365. Many days I came and said, I don't know what to talk about games. So today we just gonna chat. And I'm just talking to myself, but I'm talking to them. Right?
Mm.
So once you do it a couple times, you have people in your audience. And then, again, anybody in the chat listening, if you have a question, feel free to ask. But you'll go like, hey, I just realized I had a good question, or I was doing this chat and Luis had said something about putting loss in the perspective. Let me give you a little perspective of what that looks like to me. Right. And again, one of your takeaways, whether you remember saying it or not, is that makes you want to spend time with the nephews.
Mm-hmm.
That wants you to make sure that you carry over from dad and grandpa and grandma into them.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we've always done that throughout history as humans is tell stories. So although you're
Mm-hmm.
doing it for work, you're also putting it into family life as well.
Yeah.
And I tell
Yeah.
people all the time the best way to practice a podcast is to do what we just did. And like, oh, I want to shoot a video today and I don't know what to talk about. We could have just gone to Zoom and I could do like this, minus
Mm.
the overlay, but have you chilling in the back as my friend, and I could do the video better just because you're sitting there, as opposed to
Mm.
seemingly like I am speaking to myself,
Mm.
right? So I tell people all the time, bro, go interview somebody in your family. Go to the aunties and get those stories. Put together the memorial reel. Okay, June and I just did Korean, we do the ceremony every year on the
Mm.
memorial. And dad's was last Sunday. So we just got together, with the self and the cousins and that. And we got together, we did a little barbecue downstairs. And, we put dad in the phone, like the picture, that picture of him
Mm.
like this? Everybody's seen it. So we put that on the end of the phone and we used the Marshall clamp. So dad is sitting at the head of the table.
Mm.
And then we make a plate for him. We pour soju for him. And we sit down and we break bread and we just share stories. But dad is
Mm.
there, right? I made a video. I think I forgot to send it to you, but I made a video like a week ago saying that for creators who are stuck this holiday season, instead of trying to figure out what kind of social media clips you can make, Go make some video cards to your friends, your family, your loved ones that you just need a positive message, right? Or just to remind them that you missed them, or remind them that that one time you guys went on vacation and your friend, accidentally, soiled himself. Like, just send a regular message. Like, we used to do that on cards, right? We used to send these cards. Like, don't spend any Hallmark money. Like, just go
Mm.
make a video message to your friend, right? So for you, a homework would be, today, before you leave the office, post up the camera and be just like, Mana, you know what? Like, thanks for working with me. Them 5 years, we had a good time. But I really appreciate your message the other day. It kind of hit me super well. Like, I hope things keep going, with the farm and whatnot. And if you ever just want to pop up and talk, like, send me a Zoom link. We can chat. Like, but yeah, I just miss you, brother. Thank you. Simple.
Mm.
Like, make those videos. And no one has to see it but your people, right? Go grab a bunch of stories from the aunties and then share that on the memorial of, when your dad or your grandma passed away. And it's like no one else in your family has that same skill, but you do. And the
Mm.
boys and the rest of the cousins and them, they can look at it years on end. And it doesn't
Mm.
have to be produced. We're talking home movie style, America's funniest videos. And they don't have to be sad. We're trying to bring out the happy stories.
Mm-hmm.
And when we did Brady's grandma's funeral, I thought that was the dopest part is we had a bunch of clips of just all of the Okinawans getting together and talking story and, sharing stories of his grandma. And we played it at the funeral and Brady and I are in the back and like, cause I'm doing the production and we're like cracking up laughing, and we were streaming it out to the people that couldn't come. And it was like a great thing. You see what I
Mm.
mean? So he got the idea. It's like, man, we should set up live streaming business for funerals because so many of our people got people somewhere else.
Mm.
And it was just a dope. It was just a dope ceremony, And I was telling my group when we're talking about doing this process, when I made the memorial slideshow for Karen's dad, we sat around cracking up and telling stories and connecting the stuff social media can't do. We use
Mm.
that to bring the family back together. And even though I, as a video person, I was angry. I need these files on this day in this format so I
Mm.
can make the slideshow. And then that nigga one of them Okinawans did what I said. So if I was going to grade it from being a creator, it's a 3. And my pride was mad that I got to put this out. I was being an absolute asshole. Because when we played it at the funeral home,
Mm.
every one of the family members was like, "Oh my God, this was so good. You showed, you showed Hiroshige in the best light. Oh, I remember this day. I
Mm.
remember that day." And people was coming up to me and like patting me, shaking my hand, telling me I did a good job on the thing. But my ego, from being a production guy, was pissed about the slideshow,
Mm.
and it melted people and made some people smile.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
This is Brad Watanabe. This is not B Rat Studios.
Mm.
They're two different things. My friend is Brad Watanabe. B Rat Studios is that dude's business. I got a hat and a mug and some other stuff. The hat don't fit
Yeah.
my head, but I got a hat.
Oh man.
That makes
Yeah.
sense?
That's
You make sense to
yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean,
Um.
just you and the boys post up somewhere at the park and talk to mom and send her the video. Yo, she will melt. She would absolutely melt. Like, hey, boys, tell your mom, what you want to say. Of course, the young one can't talk yet, but y'all could just post up
Mhm.
and you and nephew, talk to sis and just send her a little message. Like, don't buy
Mhm.
a Hallmark card, make one.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to put them out of business. Look, Jim just said a lot of people are trying to rent hotspots, dude, so they can do the funerals on their own. Yeah, because I
Mm.
think it's actually easy now. Like you don't even need me and Brady. You just post your iPhone in the back and just let people, see what's going on.
Mm. Mm.
Dude, this was good.
Mm.
This was really good because I think every time I talk to you, it even reminds me to stay focused on what I'm doing. Like,
Yeah.
uh, we had a whole bunch of good conversations today. Had a couple of Zoom meetings back to back, and all it does is fire me up to keep doing what I'm doing. Like when I finished my 365, I could have completely took a break, but I didn't. I keep going.
Mm.
I still making content. Like I ain't gonna quit. Like when I get, there'll be
Yeah.
a day I won't feel bad about skipping one. I didn't want to skip any of my 365. I wanted to prove that point. But like when I go to Japan, if I come back from the telly, and I'm 370 days of video straight. But if I was at the tonight and I can't do it, right? Because I'm going to a concert tonight actually. So if I don't do it soon, it ain't gonna get done. Um, I won't feel bad about missing it. But every time I have these conversations with you or helping other creators figure this out,
Mm.
it's like a little push, to just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I actually enjoy going to like even like elementary schools, talking to kids, telling them about what we do and what kind of future there is in creative media and all of that. Um, and I think the part that I'm not as interested in doing, which I know is part of this, is like building a community, like from the ground up. Like if somebody has a question, I'll talk to them for an hour or whatever to help develop whatever they're doing. But finding other people that actually need help is the part that I feel like is also a sticking point. Like
Yeah.
I don't I don't want to necessarily have to do that,
Then you don't
but
have to be tied like me. I gotta do class every Saturday, right?
yeah.
This way you can just keep putting out the good, but you don't have to. I don't think it's okay to say that up front. I think the
Mm,
bad thing to do is to get caught up into all of the advice of doing that and then not be able to do it because then that leaves you feeling less than.
mm,
You know what I mean? I recently told people in my community, like, look, if you can't create and you keep coming here and listening to us talk about it, all you gotta do is fess up and say, hey, I'll be the support person. How can I help you?
mm,
Right? If you want, I can help you with your email newsletter. Or if you want, I could just sit in the back and take questions and screenshot them and send them to you. Like, they're support positions, right?
mm-hmm.
In our world, it's a grip, you know what I mean, or a production assistant. So you can still be part of the content creating thing without being on camera. You could be a production assistant in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. I would like to see
Dude.
the Brad like summer camp for kids who want to shoot video. We used to do them at the Apple Store, but they just always seemed
Mm,
a little campy. But I think yeah, it'd be cool for you to set up a little summer camp. You know, especially when our nephew gets of age, and
mm,
like when he's like 8 or 9, and he can take part of it. Because that's how we did it. We had the little high eight.
mm.
He was like running around. Well, actually, my joint was big still. It was in two pieces, but that's how we did it. That's how we learned how to shoot our little. Mine was BMX videos, and yours was skateboard videos, but that's how we did it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So what's next for you? What's next? What does that starting small look like? Have you come up with a plan yet?
Um, yeah. So I think tomorrow I'm gonna try to get together with a few folks, just bring them into the studio. Some guys that are just trying to get into the industry, get their feet wet. So I'm gonna talk shop with them, just have some coffee. And I think
Are you going to record it?
no. I think for this one, because I don't want it to be something that I try to grow.
Mm-hmm.
I think trying to grow something just puts more stakes and more, stuff that I want it to be just a small community where we can invest in people. Not a big community that we have to foster. So we start
Yes.
small and keep it small. That's what I want that to be in person. Um, but I also just want to commit to. I hate to say make more content because again, that's not what I want to do. Like I want to tell intentional stories, but do them with a bit more uh, consistency and building a part of my life, both from a work perspective and a personal perspective that allows me to do that. And yeah, I always try to turn it into a film rather than just sharing what the experience is. So I
I
think I
like it.
have to reverse engineer that.
I wanted to point out, and I forgot about it, but I'm glad you brought it back up. We were talking about, telling stories, right? And I feel like people don't realize this, but everybody is telling a story.
Hmm.
It's a difference in. I remember when social media came out, people used to say you're going to be on social media, but it's a rather a matter of whether you're telling the story or whether somebody else is telling the story for you.
Hmm.
I believe storytelling is the same way in a similar sense. You're always telling stories, but it's a matter
Mm.
of whether you're controlling the narrative or whether you letting the narrative control you.
Yeah.
And in other words, like there's people that are telling themselves the story that no one wants to hear from them. They're telling
Mm.
themselves a story that I don't have anything valuable to say. They're telling themselves the story that I'm not good enough. Those are all still stories. Those are all narratives. And a lot of those narratives were guided by a seed that somebody else planted in you.
Mm.
And when the reason why that hit me hard as a brick more than most, when I was a kid, all I ever heard the adults around me say was that I'm shy.
Mm.
I should just hear that because actually now it's weird because I actually know why. Being an
Mm.
ADHD person, when you get overstimulated, you go to some place for safety. Okay, so when you're a little kid and the world is your oyster and you're trying to figure things out and you go somewhere with a lot of people and you know people, all
Mm.
little kids stand behind mom's leg, grab the little pens and be like,
Mm-hmm.
are these people safe? And you look at
Mm-hmm.
mom and they be like, oh, he's just shy. So you hear that anchor point.
Mm.
When the little kid, slowly creeps around the couch and look at what the other dude is doing, like, oh, this dad's friend from work. I'm supposed to call him uncle, but I don't know if he need that yet. And then you kind of look at him, and then you go over there and you like look at him and you run, ha ha, ha, and you're
Mm.
slowly building your tolerance up to this person. Next thing you know, Uncle Mana comes over, you run right up to him, jump up, pick me up, throw me around, swing me, do whatever, right?
Mm.
But if the anchoring point is shy, I believed that mess until I was like 15 years old.
Mm.
And when did I realize that somebody else telling me I was shy without even knowing what the word mean was? When I was
Mm.
young and trying to date and realized I was missing out because even my friends would be like, oh, he's shy. I'm like, who told you that? They just heard, mom say that since we was little kids in church.
Mm.
Nobody is shy. You get labeled shy and you act shy. But shy's not in the DSM-5, so you can't get it. You can't buy it. It was put on you by somebody else.
Mm.
Same like you're smart, same like you're stupid, same like whatever. Those are labels that other people place upon us and then we own them.
Mm.
So I tell my people, I say this every day in the mirror, out loud. I'm a creator. And in your ilk, there's the people that go out there and announce themselves as Christian, and there's the people
Mm.
that be Christians.
Mm.
I know which one you are. You're my friend. I don't know why you're my friend because I'm exactly the opposite, but I'm still your friend. It's the same thing. So yeah, if you want to do it the way that you're doing it, like again, the stories are there,
Mm.
and it's better for you if you actually know how to tell them instead of let them be told.
Mm.
It's better for the world if you know how to tell them instead of let them be told.
Mm. Yeah. So if you were to give me some advice, my natural tendency is to want to tell stories of other people.
Good.
Um, And so in this, like, let's call it a creator journey, the tendency is to try to make the story about myself or about what I'm doing or how I'm growing or learning and how other people can learn from that. And it in some ways I feel like it's the opposite message that is intrinsically something that I try to develop,
You're a
you know?
documentarianist that by nature. You told me you
Yeah.
started that way at like 5, 6 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, it was about the ants. It wasn't about me,
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm
right?
saying. You're a
So
documentarianist
like
from the beginning.
if I lean into that, then even within the story, and I think this is the mechanizing everything part of it is like it then requires me to have somebody to talk to and interview and build story around. And then if I do that, then I'm definitely going to be making more of a production out of it. Um,
Tell their story without them there.
hmm,
If you had to
how do you
sit
do
down,
that?
okay, I don't know. I'm gonna give you. No one has to see this unless it's good.
Yeah.
Send me a in Brad's brain documentary about me,
Hmm,
and if it's good, I'll release it on the channel and I'll collab you. Cause I don't, you know already. We've been friends for damn near 20 years, and I can't direct it in any way, shape, or form. Just sit down and be like, yo, when I think about this idiot, this is what I think of. You know,
hmm,
like, and I don't care what it is, good, bad, or indifferent. Like, I'll share it. I'm not that type of person. Like, if I got lessons I need to learn, I'll take them. But I
hmm,
think it's a good way for you to get the practice in of how to tell the story about somebody without telling it. Because I know I could do that about Dad. I could do that about June. So I could do that about you.
hmm.
And I'm not a documentarianist by nature. I'm front of the camera idiot dancing around acting a fool.
Hmm. Dude. Yeah, that's a super interesting direction.
I mean, it's kind of um, history TV or biology TV, not biology. What's that thing called A&E? Like this is what they do.
Hmm,
They tell other people's story. They just add clips to it, but you don't need a clip. Like your grandpa has definitely told you stories about your grandma.
mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. It's still documenting, but it's just without the questions. It's actually what I told you to send him on it. Like you're gonna send him a message that's just for you and him. That's like, what was his impact to you? And that just gets your muscles going. And then the rest of the creativity, I don't got to tell you how to create. Dude, you got more awards than me. I got none. Actually, yeah, none. So,
Hmm. Okay. You got the wheels spinning a little bit.
right? Dude, you can make one for wifey. You can make one to nephew. You can make one for anybody in your family just to get that practice in. You know, Caroline was in the chat. Like, she can make one, send it to her husband.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? He cool.
Mm-hmm.
But when's the last time she told him he cool?
Hmm.
I only met him twice, and he cool to me. So she might want to bust him in the head with a frying pan, but that's none of my business.
Yeah. I don't know how you did it. How you got rid of some of just like the cinematography baggage.
It's
I
hard,
don't know.
bro.
I don't know how you get rid of that.
I
Yeah.
catch myself all the time, and then this is even more funny. I hear my pops in my head be like, "Dummy, you know you can't do it that way," and I'm like, "Dad, this ain't for them." Like
Hmm.
me and June used to tell him that at the store. Like when he be trying to tell y'all about 3.2 pull down, and like, dude, they just bought an 8 millimeter. There's no 3.2 pull down on an 8 millimeter. And so I just have to go back to the times that June and I got to tell him like, Dad, this is for like breakdancing videos from the kids at Alamo
Hmm.
Like they don't care, and I just have to I do that. But like I'm not gonna lose my training. That's not
Hmm.
going anywhere. But I have to remind myself that I got to get it out.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? We have definitely, you know, Leanne has definitely shipped some food without enough salt. But you know what? There's salt on the table.
Hmm.
Dude, don't never tell her I said that because I think she could beat me up. Chef Leanne, Chef Leanne is my homie, but I think she can fight. So don't tell her I said that.
She's from New York.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm not trying to get beat up by a small lady again. Dude, this was really
Man.
good. Like, and
Yeah.
anytime you feel like having it again, at least this time we were smart enough to record it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. For sure. Same thing, man. I'm glad we got to finally powwow with some microphones.
All right, and I'm looking forward
Dude,
to your videos. You don't have to send it to me. You can just tell me you did it. I trust you. You know, if it's good, I'll take
sounds
it. If
good.
you say I can post it, I'll post it. Like either way, I just want you to get the feeling of doing something that's a little more Brad and a little less B Rad. Close the space.
Mm, mm. You got it.
All right, Juan.
I'm in. I'm
I'm
in.
gonna tell Karen like, oh, this is Juan Tanabe. For the longest time, she thought that was a whole different person.
Dude.
That's super
She'll never
funny.
get over that one.
Nope. Gang, listen, thank you for hanging out with me and Brad today.
Yeah.
And I don't know, next time you're in Hawaii, y'all can just come through. We would do this at lunch across the street instead of on
Oh yeah.
camera. But you know what it is. Thank you, Brad, for coming through. And if you need to reach out to my brother, you can send him a message at Brad Watanabe on the IG. And then,
There you
yeah,
go.
he's a cool cat. He don't bite. Thank you, guys. Aloha, everyone. Thank you for hanging out. Peace out. Bye.
I